there's only a handful of things that truly changed the way that the human condition lives. Things like indoor plumbing, and actually the railway was more important than virtually any transportation innovation to come since. And to use your example of the driving car, I think even Peter Thiel said, we wanted flying cars and we got 140 characters. So there's a lot of disparagement of current technological innovation when the modern kitchen hasn't changed in 60 years. Does anybody give any of this any credence that we might be hitting a kind of innovation wall? Yes, John.
I think it's the exact opposite. I think we're in a temporary cycle, both economically and risk-taking wise, that's affecting the number of IPOs and new thinking. But if you watch what's about to occur, the knowledge is going to double every week. Your capability to come out with new ideas are going to accelerate. The average Fortune 500 company is going to only stay on the Fortune 500 list, not for 75 years like it did when I was a young person, but for 15 years, on its way to 5 or 7. Change will actually accelerate. Just using an example of one thing that we're interested in, you think about connecting every device in the world, of which 99% are not connected today. We think you can create an industry worth $14 trillion, and you can completely change Mike's supply chain. You can completely change operational efficiency. You can change how you interface to your customers, and you begin to usher in a whole new generation of the next capability in the Internet. So I actually think innovation is going to accelerate, offers huge opportunities. I think you haven't seen anything yet, so I'm a tremendous optimist on this. Well-run countries, however, will create an environment that attract business to their countries to do that.
All right.
I agree with John, but again, let me. I think innovation is tough at the best of times. It's hard to measure. It's hard to get through, and in times like that, many CEOs decide, well, why don't we need to cut into a lot of things. Let's cut into innovation. Exactly the opposite of what they should be doing, which John again mentioned before. And I think you can look at a company like Samsung, for example, which is innovating constantly. First, we don't know. I mean, when Jobs and Wozniak were in the garage, who knew they were in that garage, right? Mm-hmm. There'd be many more of those things that we can't imagine. I think the last century was just, took us through equivalent to 1,000 years before. And we're likely to see things like that as well. And so not everything who knew you needed an Apple iPad?
Right.
But in fact, everybody's walking around with it and finding it extremely useful. So if you look at Samsung, first the Chairman Lee of Samsung has a saying that he's known to say, which is, change everything except your wife and kids. It's true.
So let me just pick on Apple. I love these guys. They've been very successful. But this is what this theory from my research projects is going to happen in the future. So they start new markets with their technology, and their technology at that stage is proprietary and interdependent, and it needs to be that way. And that's really the core of who they are and what makes them so good. And manufacturing these products is just a sidelight. And it's really easy to outsource the manufacturing of that to people in China who have better costs. But now what is happening is the proprietary architecture of Apple, which historically has been, this is innovation, is becoming disrupted by modular architectures enabled by the Android operating system and other people. And when a technology becomes open and modular, actually what used to be proprietary and valuable becomes commoditized. Anybody can make it.
I really think even at Walmart, we've had, I've been really pleased with our organization in the area of sustainable innovation and efficient innovation. Efficient innovation is really a lot about our business model. Yeah, we often call it the productivity loop, and it's really operating with lower expenses, more efficiency, lowering prices for our customers, and as a result, having more customers, which allows for more efficiency. But that disruptive or that empowering innovation, I think, is something that we're trying not just at senior leadership, but throughout the organization. I really think a critical part of this is creating the overall environment in a company that this empowering innovation is really, really thought about all through the organization.
My undergraduate degree was in filmmaking, and for a long time it was my deepest, darkest secret. I didn't want anybody to know about it lest I get thrown out of the company. Today I'm looking for filmmakers, designers, people from humanities. That's how I think I'll create a culture of innovation.